Last one.
Let's do it.
You go. You go for it.
Finding the gold standard.
All right. Unpack.
So something I do whenever I'm trying to improve at something, and I'll keep this on the email one since it's very relevant for me at the moment. If I'm trying to improve and get growth at something, a huge differential is knowing what the end product looks like. So if I'm, in this example, trying to make sure that the emails I send out with these podcast episodes are worth reading, if I don't know what the end product of that looks like, it's so hard to measure or get anything from that. So what I did is I subscribed to 5 email newsletters that are really good. I perceive them as good, and if I could write at this level as like the goal, I would be very happy with that. So something I do every week is I'll open one of my emails and then I'll open their emails and compare what they do against what I do. So in doing this, I find I learn a lot. I find in being able to make those comparisons, I can see if I'm grasping concepts or where I can do better. It's kind of a feedback loop in itself. It's just that it's a different type of feedback loop. It's more like a type of comparison, right?
Yep.
It's comparison, but I call it finding the gold standard. So if you apply this to every area of your life, if you wanted to, for example, have a physique like someone, you got to know what the physique is. So you can say, well, where am I lacking so I can make the change there? Or if you wanted to drive more profit in your business, you need to know what a business that drives that type of profit looks like so you can make that comparison.
Yeah, I've seen this so many times. One of the biggest things that I've always said is if you're wanting to show a student how to be successful in an exam, give them a successful exam. It's like, well, here's an exam and this is what success looks like. Outside of showing you how to do the thing, which is what we've just done for the entire year leading up to the exam, you think you got everything that you need in order to be successful? It's like the comparison where they go, well, this one, I got 80% and this one got 100%. Now I can compare to see what the difference is. And without that comparison, you've got this 20% where you're trying to guess of like, how do I make this the final 20%? The comparison is the key. And so, and I've seen this a couple of times. A previous business partner of mine loved kite surfing. And the first thing that he did was he bought a kite surfing and then he was on YouTube pausing, playing to see where everybody's, like all the pros' feet, where they were positioned on the board, where they were holding the kite, when they'd like pull down their arms when they were going to do a jump. And he was just like looking for patterns between them. And then he just went out and did the thing. He's like, I'm just looking to see what they do versus my own sort of style that I've implemented. And that was the difference. And then he's like, and then he had a mentor that just said, oh, and try this as well. I'm like,
I really want to highlight a point on this one because I think it would be easy to be confused. If you would do a course on kite surfing,
yep,
right, you might go through and they have these modules and they show you how to, set up your kiteboard or your kite or whatever it is. And it's like, it's a learning experience where you go through the steps. That's very different than watching someone who's the best in the world at kite surfing and like, what do they call it? Meta-analysis.
Yes.
Where you're watching how the pros do it. I love the idea of doing both. I think the ability to do both in an area where you want growth could be huge. So if you want to be a very successful property investor, it's one thing to do a property investment course, but to look at how the people who have been successful are doing things, it adds another layer to this as well. It's not just the, a skill, attaining the skill is different from watching the person and doing it through meta-analysis as well.
But because you couldn't have an or, like you couldn't just assume that you're going to be very good at developments by watching the gold standard, because there's so many layers that you need to understand in order to get there. It's like just because they, built 2 stories and they built, 4 units, doesn't mean that if you just went and built 2 stories and 4 units anywhere, it's going to work, right? There are so many other layers as to why they got there. However, understanding that and learning that and then seeing what they've done as an outcome, applying those 2 at the same point, that's where the gold standard significantly unlocks.
I'll tell you an industry that does this very well is marketing. You will notice that there's even like funnel hacking is a term, right? Or like I used to and even still to this day is like deconstructing other people's Facebook ads.
Yeah. There's another industry, golf does this very well, where people will learn how to like swing the club, but then they'll go and see like a deconstruction of like Tiger Woods swing. They're like, and that's what he does. And like everyone just analyzes it.
I'm not sure you can compare to Tiger, man. He's a beast. But,
Well, yeah. Just put it out there.
I get you though. The point is valid.
standard.
The point is valid.
Yeah, the gold standard. I love that point. Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.